shuts down. You know, it's like
get everything transferred.
like basically. Yeah.
Actually, nothing. So you use too much energy tomorrow. Too much energy today. Subtract from tomorrow's energy. I'm going to be going on like a 6 mile. I'll try not to. I don't know what a big hike you guys will go, but try to conserve energy. Let's go. Come on, look at these rocks. Look at these rocks. This is very little. This is not the mine. This is a different
I don't turn on what fountain?
Like make the fountain.
Well, these are natural.
The fountains?
How this is going? Yeah. This is like what we saw.
Then how do they turn off those?
Oh, well, it's not that someone turned them off. It's that the kind of like the piping that comes up to it got plugged up. And these haven't gotten plugged up. That's how things are changing and growing over time. These are continuing to grow, but the ones over there, they've grown and a couple are filling in, and then they've hardened it. My guess is they'll talk about, I think this is still like that, but my guess is they'll talk about what
marshmallow stuff. Is that what the marshmallow stuff?
Yep.
No! So cute. No, try to see that in that funny a bit. What if it was really deep? Don't do that. Please stay where you have to be. You have to stay on the path. I was on the path.
Don't be like that kid in the red
Also not that far off the tree. I was one step back. I was literally already at. I was just not What about boardwalk somewhere? Where do those people go? Where's the But back Rambo? This is
Thanks a lot.
Yep, yep.
No, a mud.
所以把设备也是加在一起。This is cool. Look. See, like the water doesn't look as white. The orange one is white.
Poi dobbiamo solo ricordarci di venire qua e non all'oggi. Dopo l'oggi un po' più avanti. Proprio alle ferrate. Ecco, bravo, metti il marrone no. Più giù la fa.
Quando è bianco e verde la faccio, è bianco e marrone.
another hat.
That pink thing there.
Sweet. And has clothes lying around.
Urka, tam idzie niedźwiedź.
उधर जाओ हेलो
Chodź ten, chodź.
Idę
A może mapę sobie schowaj. Połóż na ziemi, nie będzie, nóg nie widać. Czekaj, tylko muszę ustawić na siebie.
तुम जाओ वहाँ खींच दें
Dobra? Pokaż.
क्या कर रही है
Tak, nie
जैस वो टोपी देखिए
muszę stać. Tylko tak, żeby pomagało się mi było.
कार
3D glasses
3D
become 3D
Drop a hat and a top.
So the longer we take, the hotter it's going to get. So you should, this is where you should keep going. Okay, I'll walk.
Yeah, here. we're gonna go down. We're going pretty much the whole way up.
Is that like if we're on the moon, guys?
Yung pala?
When we leave, you can do the upper stairs, drive. You can top up.
Oh yeah, I know it.
对。
Yeah.
然后那个两都是欧嘛，欧上6。
Unless it's
Yeah.
yeah, but after this, I'm just going back. So, look at over there. Oh my god.
Are you okay, Dale? It would be such a pain to
Oh yeah.
It would be such a pain if you were driving quickly. Right?
I don't think they would come in here. Always, you know, like to me, like I don't even have that much space.
Yeah. Yeah, the road will
Compañía tecnología o viejo. Sierwie makałek. Ahí al principio, ahí.
Sí, pero tampoco.
Hombre, que igual no con esta cadera.
So it is kind of a little while.
wahnsinnig oft muss man
Genau, ja, für die ist das wichtig, das zu sehen, gell? Aber was weiß ich, Bryce Canyon und Science National Park, Antelope Canyon ist für uns eins der schönsten.
Da waren wir diesmal nicht hin, aber da waren wir zwei ohne die Kinder schon mal. Antelope ist ganz toll.
Das war, genau.
Stimmt, ja, es gibt so ein paar, die sind einfach
Muss man, ich meine, wir wissen dieses Mal noch nicht, ob wir den Antelope mitnehmen, ja, aber weil was uns am besten gefallen hat, war damals St. George, ja, und wir sind da dieses Mal runtergefahren.
okay. Ja,
Also, jetzt geht's nach Idaho wirklich, ja, also
Okay.
da wohnt seine Familie von früher,
Okay.
ja, also und da werden wir jetzt ein paar Tage sein, dann geht's dann weiter nach St. George und von dort die ganzen Nationalparks, also die ganzen Sachen.
Wie lange seid ihr insgesamt?
Wir 3 Wochen, die Kinder bleiben 2 Wochen länger. Die Kleine darf das letzte Schuljahr ein paar Wochen.
Ja, wobei jetzt Richtung
Schmeißen ja die
Muss man froh sein, dass man über der Wasser sieht, ja?
wollte ich gerade sagen, ja. Weil die ganzen Lake und Lake Town, Lake Town, der andere Lake Whitney und er, die müssen auch verlassen.
Maman, vous pouvez pas prendre l'autre chemin. Maman, vous pouvez pas prendre l'autre chemin qu'on avait vu qui va là-bas.
über 40 Kilometer auseinander. Das ist schon witzig, oder? Am anderen Ende der Welt. Nein, aber wie gesagt, das ist einfach eine Reise ins Mal wieder.
Ja. Ich war mit meiner Mutter vor 3 Wochen bin ich bloß noch nach Straße gefahren.
Meilen, ja, offensichtlich auch nicht ganz dran übernommen.
no hay como no. Piensa que
Ja, das war geil. 现在猫姐不在，你看你脸上晒皱好几天了。我跟你说，它是保护你的皮肤的。还有爸爸，还有那个面包棍，可以吃啊。我明天回去就把它搁回去。
They like the food. It's white.
Yeah.
Terrace stuff, and then we can stop on our way. Look at it. No, I see somebody threw their hat in there. I was making a statement, not proposing. Mello.
Oh yeah. Got an angle.
Oh ja, die bushwassers. Kim.
And then if I can't get in there, there's a parking lot down here. I try to park down there. Dude, if this is gonna be full, I have to find a place to park.
Whatever, we'll just go and see.
It's not beeping.
He was wandering around.
Aquí cannot. My son is.
원빈아! 원빈아! 안 돼, 안 돼. 천천히 기다려.
맥스만 따라가면 안 돼.